name is Kenesha Cook, and I'm the co-chair for the Atlanta Programming Committee. Today, we have Bobby Dix here, who is going to be chopping it up with us to talk more about his career journey. Bobby Dix, welcome to the NAMIC Atlanta Coffee Talk series. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. It is an honor. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I couldn't think of anyone else. So I was like, let me go ahead and call Bobby and see what's up. But Bobby, okay, so you've had a very interesting career journey. Tell us more about your career journey as to how you got to where you are now. Maybe you want to go from the beginning and kind of like lead us into that story.
Sure. So my career journey, believe it or not, I wanted to be a homicide detective.
Oh.
Yep, I wanted to be a homicide detective. So I took a police exam out, and I'm from New York originally, from the city, from Brooklyn, and I took the exam way out in Suffolk County. And the first exam went really well, and then after that, there was some issues, technicalities with some folks, so they made us take it over, and I couldn't make it out there. So sales ended up being the next best thing. I started out just really selling everything. I mean, I sold pharmaceuticals, sneakers, women's clothes, you name it, perfume. And then in my truly professional career, I started out at Getty Images back in 2000. Started out as a sales assistant, and then I was an account executive. And Getty Images at that time was called FPG. It wasn't called Getty. What Getty Images did was they went around purchasing smaller stock footage agencies, and they all just became, rolled up under the Getty Images umbrella. So I became an account executive with the Image Bank part of Getty Images. And then one day, my wife decided she wanted us to move to Atlanta, and I said no, because I'm not leaving my good job or my mama. But nonetheless, here I am.
Hold on, are you a mama's boy?
What? Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. Man, my mom, my best friend for years. I mean, that's the homie. Is best I can say it, honestly. But yeah, so got here. I bounced around a little bit while I interviewed for CNN. I finally got into CNN as an AE, then as a senior AE, then as a director, senior director, and here I am now, vice president of sales. So it's been a long 23 years of doing this.
Wow. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, obviously we've met through CNN, but you're currently, like you said, the VP of CNN Collections. So tell us more about that. Because when I hear collections, I think of I owe somebody some money. They call it
Mhm.
my bill collect, but it's not like that. So could you explain more about what CNN Collections does?
So CNN Collection is the content licensing arm of CNN and HLN. We also rep probably somewhere between 600 and 700 of CNN's local affiliates. So the WABCs, WNBCs, WXYZs, whatever you can think of. We rep their content. But yeah, so we license pretty much everything that is on our air, on the HLN air for feature films, documentaries, TV shows, education projects, corporate projects, advertising. Pretty much anywhere you can put a moving picture is where we're going to try to sell our content. And as far as how we became the collection, we used to be called the image source. But first and foremost, we don't sell images, we sell video. And there was another company called Image Source that was royalty free, and people often got us confused. So we changed our platform up a little bit. We started selling more than just branded content and view, or branded meaning, war footage, our news talent. We also will license occasionally some of the other content, like the Anthony Bourdain shows, and just some of the different scene and original programming that we have, which became a collection of content, so to speak. So hence the name CNN Collection.
Gotcha. Interesting story. So I know that you say you license footage to different movie houses or whatever, because we've worked on projects together. But what has been your most exciting project that you felt over the years that you've worked on?
Exciting. I mean, it's always really cool to see my name in the special thanks on the credits of a feature film, right? I would say Central Park 5 was near and dear to me. Again, as a young man growing up in New York during that time, I was very familiar with that story. So I was happy to be a part of, providing content to appear in that series. So I
That's
was definitely say that. And I would say the most interesting one that I reference whenever someone asks me is World War Z
Oh,
with Brad Pitt and the zombies. So at the beginning of that film, there's a ton of B-roll footage. It's moving, it's trains, it's interviews, it's beach scenes, it's people walking, it's a lot of that. And a lot of that footage came from CNN Collection.
oh wow, that's pretty cool. I know CNN's been featured some pretty cool stuff, so that's pretty cool. Now, is there always like a fee that you charge people? The company?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm a salesman at heart, and I'm here to make money. So yes, we do charge fees. You know, they're typically per second. You know, we got of course there's some minimums here and there, but we're pretty flexible, and we like to talk to folks and say, okay, well, if you don't want to pay per second, that's fine. What are you looking for? You know, we'll have a pretty intelligent conversation about their situation, what they can and cannot do, and if there's a way that we can help them, you know, we will. And if not, then say la vie. Next
Deuces, basically.
time.
No, you know what's that word? No pay, no stay kind of thing.
Hey, right. And listen, closed mouths don't get fed. So, I'm glad when, clients are open about their budget situation, so that we can talk about it.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Okay, so obviously this month is Women's History Month. And in my eyes, I think Women's History Month is every day of the year, not just one month. So how important do you think it is, especially, I guess, men to support women in women organizations, be an ally, different women of color in different organizations? How important do you think that is to be an ally?
That is a huge part of my life. I am a father with a wife and three daughters, a mom, a sister. I'm the minority in my family. And I want to see them succeed. And I'm keenly aware of some of the roadblocks that they face as women, as African American women specifically, when they're looking for opportunities to grow and, whether it be their career, personally, so it's super important, to be an ally and to help wherever you can. Like African Americans, women are the minority, and women, in my opinion, are overly undervalued and underappreciated. And that's something that if I can do a little bit to change that, I will.
Yeah, that's pretty cool you brought that up because I was reading an article the other day and it was basically saying how even though, you see women of color being in higher executive roles, it seems as if they're not as supported as other women. And I thought that was very interesting.
I would say that in some cases they're not as supported, and they're still the minority. I mean, there's still a ton of talented, bunch of talented women of color out there that are being overlooked, and aren't given the opportunities that should be given.
Absolutely. So how would you let's go back to your career. So how did you start basically from an entry level position and then you work your way up to executive level? Because from the outside looking in, from someone maybe like me, that might be a hard climb. Like, did you have someone advocate for you? Because as you know, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So how did you get to those different avenues and climb that corporate ladder?
I will say that it starts with you first and foremost. You have to not quit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't bounce around. I don't like it here. I'm not feeling good here, or I'm not appreciated right at the moment here. You have to stay with it, and you have to keep pushing, keep being smart, keep finding ways to make yourself more valuable, keep learning. You have to do all of those things to advance. Sometimes you win by attrition. I mean, unfortunately, that happens, but you have to make yourself valuable. And as far as allies and people advocating for me, I would say that I've always had someone advocating for me. I've always had someone in my corner to say something positive, or at the very least to recognize the amount of effort that I put into how far I've come and the things that I do, and how seriously I take the things that I do in my role in every organization that I've been a part of.
Gotcha. Now, are you, speaking of organizations, are you part of any organizations with Warner Bros. Discovery? I know they have like different organizations like Women of Warner Media or different organizations. Are you part of any of those?
I'm not part of any organizations with Warner Media Discovery, but I am part of organizations that are outside of the brand. I am on the executive board of DMLA, which is probably one of the oldest and largest media licensing nonprofits in our industry. And I'm also on the board of Focal International, and they are London-based. and they are definitely more film motion oriented nonprofit, and they're probably one of the largest that are non-US based.
Gotcha. Now, how important do you think it is to get involved? Because some people's like, well, I'm just going to just do my 9 to 5 and I'm going to go home. How important do you think it is to, be a well-rounded person and being part of other things besides your main job? Because some people, like myself, you own businesses, you're doing things. So maybe elaborate and talk more about that.
Well, it all comes down to how much you want to grow. How much do you really care? If you care about going to work 9 to 5, getting a check, and going home, then keep doing that, right? But if you want to grow and there's other things you want to do, you want to spread your wings, you want to network, and you really want to be a part of other things globally, then you have to get involved with other things, other organizations, which is why, for example, I'm not on anything at Warner Media. I probably could be, but I chose to go outside of the brand and see what everyone else is doing. So from a professional perspective, I definitely get to network and meet people in different places and promote my own personal brand. I also get to promote the brand of the company that I work for and the division that I run. And it also gives me a insight into what everyone else is doing because I'm there with my peers, the folks from AP, the folks from Reuters, and all these other different news organizations and media companies, archival companies, and everyone's talking about what's going on, what they see in the industry. And it helps me have an eye on the future, so I know what's coming my way.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
No individual knows it all, right? So it takes a village.
Absolutely. So speaking of like work-life balance, it's so funny. People always ask women, how do you balance it all? But I feel like it's a different answer when you kind of ask a man that. So how do you balance your work-life balance?
Family is first.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's my motto. That's for everyone that's on my team. That's for myself. That's for my family. Family is first. So I'm always gonna lean towards family because as much as I love my role, as much as I love my job and the company I work for, we've seen things change, and my family is always going to be the ones that are there for me. So I lean with family first, and I kind of, even though I know I've got a 9 to 5 and I've got a responsibility, right, and that's what pays the bills, I still work my 9 to 5 as best I can around the needs of my family. Mm-hmm. So it's not easy. And I don't know how moms would, especially single moms of multiple children. It's amazing. I'm married, I've got support, and I still don't know how I'm going to get my kid to the doctor some days, right? Because there's a million meetings and you've got so much email and stuff to do. But I'm always going to lean towards my family. So they're going to need what they need, and I'm going to go in that direction. And I'm going to be very transparent with the people that I work for and with about what I'm doing and why and where I'm going. I don't, have anything that I want to hide or keep to myself. And you'll know if you're in the right place by the way they respond to your needs.
Absolutely, because I strongly believe people don't leave jobs, they leave managers or situations. And I feel like, when you have someone that's in your corner and advocating for you, know that everything is not about work. Sometimes it's about that balanced relationship. I think that's more important than anything. So having someone who understands, it's always great.
Yep.
Okay, so really quick, so I want you to talk a little bit more about your business. I know outside of work, you have your own kind of thing going on. So I know you own a business, correct? Can you talk more about your business? I think that's pretty cool for people to hear that, especially someone who's interested in entrepreneurship outside of their 9 to 5. I think it's good to hear from someone else that kind of does both. So talk more about that.
So my business partner and I, we have it's sort of a real estate business, I guess you say, and we specialize in distressed properties, but not in the manner that you would think. So we don't flip houses. What we do is we work with apartment complex owners that have properties that are pretty in pretty much bad shape, and we renovate them, and we try to, make them really nice. We try to get the community to come back to that neighborhood. So we try to get rid of the violent crime and some of the things that are happening within some of those apartment complexes and try to get some quality people in there, some folks that really need, because we know in Atlanta, housing is an issue. We see people on the side of the highway all the time. So, we try to make a way to get some quality housing for people that need it.
Gotcha. What career advice would you give to someone who's maybe just starting out their career or someone who wants a career change or just trying to figure it out? What advice would you give to them?
I mean, if they're young and they really are just starting, be fluid in your thoughts. I mean, because what you want to do now may not be what you want to do in the next 10 years. So be fluid in your thoughts, but while you're doing that, be committed to what you're doing. Be committed. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't stay committed to, okay, well, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. I'm a salesperson at heart. I'm always selling. I'll sell anything. But, I was lucky enough to get into an industry that I love and, sell something that I love. And even when I had hard times, and there were plenty of them, I still was like, all right, well, tomorrow's a new day and things will be different tomorrow. And here's what I can control. That's the other piece of it. Control what you can control, what you can't control. You work with it as best you can. And also recognize when a place isn't for you. I mean, there is that, So again, you got to be transparent though. As long as you're transparent, you should get, if not real answers from the people you're being transparent with, enough of an answer that you know what the real is, and then you can make decisions.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be me if I didn't do a plug. Since you said, you're a part of other organizations, I think you should join NAMIC Atlanta. NAMIC Atlanta is the best chapter. We're more than just like networking all the time. We definitely pour into people. So I definitely have to get you on that membership list to join NAMIC Atlanta.
We'll definitely talk more about it.
All right. Well, Bobby, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much. Do you have where the people can find you? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Facebook?
I am on LinkedIn. My name, Bobby M. Dix. I'm there. And I mean, honestly, you can Google me and I'm going to show up. I have a pretty deep internet footprint. So I'm really easy to find. But yeah, definitely look for me on LinkedIn at Bobby M. Dix.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. Guys, I hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much. Again, my name's Kenesha from NAMIC Atlanta. This is going to wrap up today our NAMIC Coffee Talk Executive Series. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you.
You too.